Hi everyone, welcome back to Frankly Feeding here at Barings. For those that have been following us, this is probably our fourth session? Fourth, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. As you can see, Marinella's not here still. It's been, so she's been away. So obviously last week we have had Kevin around to show us a bit of a trick on an old favorite, the shawarma, the vegan session. This week we've got James and Van. You might recognize them. They were in Marina here. They were with us a couple of weeks ago to do a bear. Let's say it very right. Bear. But this time James is leading the cooking. So where are we going today?
So today we're going to go to Spain.
Ooh,
we're going to do 3 simple tapas dishes.
Okay.
Really traditional tapas dishes. We're going to start with albondigas, which are a Spanish meatball.
Okay.
It's a pork and beef meatball in a red wine and garlic tomato sauce.
Ooh, lovely.
We're then going to do a small twist on that and do a butterbean stew with a light tomato sauce. So we've got vegan sort of alternative.
Good.
And then we're going to finish with a gambas pilpil, which is a spicy garlic prawn, chili, garlic, some fresh parsley, some lemon zest, and sizzling olive oil.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
the gambas.
Absolutely. They're all classic dishes. Then we'll just go through a couple of little garnishes that we put together for them.
Fabulous.
That'd be fantastic.
So, where shall we start, Chef? Why did you decide to do a Spanish meal today?
So, as a young chef,
Spanish?
No, I'm not Spanish. Obviously, my accent probably gives me away. So, as a young chef, I spent a couple of years in Gran Canaria.
Lovely.
I started off as a short order cook in an Irish pub.
An Irish pub.
But I was desperate to learn the local cuisine, and there was a beautiful Spanish tapas restaurant, Canarian tapas restaurant, that the taxi drivers used to eat in, that I was desperate to work in. It took me 6 months to convince them to allow me to work there, because they just kept saying, no, you're a young English guy, we're not going to give you a job. And I did 18 months with them, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
And now you're sharing everything that you know with us.
Yeah,
amazing.
Trying to. So,
amazing. So Ben, you're here not as the lead, but as the one that's going to be helping today.
Absolutely, I'll be helping James.
So Van's going to do some chopping for me.
Perfect.
So what we'll do is we'll get started. So what we're going to do,
first, what are we cooking?
We're going to make the albondigas first, the actual meatballs themselves. Okay, but before we do, we're going to do just a small amount of health and safety and bits and pieces. So as we've done every week, we've secured our board with a cloth or slip mat.
Yep.
Obviously, if your board slips about, there's a chance that your knife will slide and cut yourself. And as usual, our knives are very, very sharp. We've got sanitizer, and we've all washed our hands in the sink over there.
Yes.
And just to let everybody else know, as far as the COVID thing goes, we've all worked in the bubble for some time now.
Absolutely.
We're all really confident in ourselves and the safety. So hence
you might not have seen me in the video, but I was on the other side.
Hence the reason why we're a little bit together and we're working closely.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get started, I'm going to get Van, if you can kindly finely dice me half an onion and smash me up 1 garlic clove and cut that for me as well.
That's regular onion, isn't it?
That's just a regular white onion.
Nothing. Fab.
And then in this mixing bowl here, I'm going to take the pork mince.
Okay. Regular.
It's just regular minced pork. There's a little bit of fat in there. It's pork. It's quite nice if you actually mince up a bit of belly and stuff. You need the fat. We need some juices.
So we don't want a lean.
It'd be nice. So we go with a lean beef mince, but we go with a fatty pork mince. Yeah, I think that then you've got that nice combination. You're keeping everything moist.
Can we just do only pork or only beef?
Of course you can. If you're halal or you don't want to eat the pork, it's fine. But the traditional recipe is a combination of pork
and beef. But we can
beef.
potentially do it according to our own taste, isn't it?
Of course. And obviously in Spain, when it comes to pigs, they've got the best pork in the world. Iberico pigs, the black pig, the pata negra. So there's a lot of offcuts from their ham and stuff. So that pork's brilliant.
All right. So we've
with the 2 different types of mince, the beef and the pork, we're going to add some grated manchego. There's about 20 grams of grated manchego there.
So manchego, quite a dry, a dry cured.
I would associate it possibly as a sort of Spanish pecorino.
Okay.
It's dry, it's salty, it's maybe a bit like a French comté.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Love.
So in this pan now, we're just going to pan fry the onions that Van has chopped. They're going to sweat down and go in with the pork and the beef.
We've got garlic as well.
Yeah, there's some garlic onion as well. There's two types of paprika we've got here. Sweet paprika,
Okay.
we're going to put about half a teaspoon. Smoked paprika, we're going to do the same again.
So as I said, you're adding the sweet and the
Yeah,
smoked.
and the smoky taste just come out in the sauce, it'd be lovely.
Okay.
We're going to put a tiny little dash of cumin powder.
Cumin powder, really? Okay.
It just adds a little bit of depth and body and a warmth that's not spicy.
Ah.
And then we're going to add a little twist of pepper,
Mm-hmm.
a little twist of salt.
Okay.
So if Pam doesn't mind just quickly pan frying the garlic and onions for me.
Diced onion.
Yeah, finely diced.
Okay.
And then what I'm then going to get round to do is just chop me a little bit of flat leaf parsley to go into the meatballs as well.
Okay.
And I'm just going to, no problem.
I'm trying to not be in your way.
And then I'm just going to grab a small amount of fresh lemon zest,
Okay.
just to add to that as well.
So every time I try the zest, is that right? That you shouldn't go too deep because you want to get the bitterness of the white.
That's
seed.
absolutely right. So the pith is bitter. So you just want it out a bit. And if you can, preferably get unwaxed lemons because they've not been treated.
Okay.
So you don't have to scrub the wax off and wash them properly.
Got you. Like that. Fabulous.
Yeah, do you want these, Chef? Do you want them?
That's it. Just sweated and just taken the softener off.
Any colour?
No, thank you. That'll be fine, just as they are. With the garlic now, please, and then I can throw the parsley into my mix.
So you don't put the garlic and the onions at the same time?
No, because garlic has a habit of burning,
Okay.
and then it will create a bitter taste, and we don't want
Right.
we don't want that. We want the garlic to come through without the bitterness.
So that's always.
That's always.
When you bake something with onions and garlic, first the onion.
That's what I would tend to do. Obviously, some Oriental cooking and stuff to get the oil flavour and stuff. We put onions, we put like garlic and ginger in first, but generally it's golden raw.
It's
That's
high
right.
flame, isn't it?
It's a high heat. That's
Yeah,
right. That's it. So if we can pop the onions and garlic in there now for me, please, that'd be great.
Fabulous. Oh, so you mix. Okay, right.
Yeah. Now we'll leave the pan on the low heat.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do now is we're just going to quickly just shape these meatballs. So traditionally, Spanish albóndigas, they're not like the big Italian meatballs, it's a tapas. So
Right,
you want to be able to eat a meatball with one fork. You don't want to have to cut something, you don't want to have to eat like that. It needs to be just a one fork job. So
One bite size.
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly that. So
Okay.
traditionally, maybe with a lot of meatballs, you would bake them in the oven to cook them. In Spanish cuisine, we tend to just cook them in a pan. So we put them in a frying pan to cook. So that sort of size is perfect. If Anne doesn't mind adding a little bit of oil to that pan now, so we can start these meatballs off.
Okay. So the recipe, I think, was based on 500 grams of beef, 500 grams of
500 grams of beef.
So how many do you think you will get?
It will make plenty. If you're going to have a party, that's what I mean. I mean, tapas is all about party. It's all about friends. It's all about family.
Yeah.
It's all about eating together. You're going to get 40, 50 meatballs.
Oh, wow,
They're going to get a lot. I mean,
quite a
they
lot.
really are tiny little things.
Okay.
But they're also extremely Moorish, and I mean, family of 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or a party.
Or maybe just the two of
they're
us,
going to eat,
probably we
exactly.
get
They're
all
going
of
to
it.
eat through them really quickly. But just
Fair
for the
enough.
purpose of the video, I'm obviously not going to shake them all
Yeah.
or cook them all.
Just to show how actually it's done.
That's exactly
That's
right.
pretty straightforward, isn't it?
I would say so.
That took us what? It's not even 5 minutes.
Well,
like a couple of minutes.
we're doing it
together.
live. It's a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
That's
that's
pretty quick.
So
Perfect
that's.
for an evening meal.
So I reckon, if looking at the size of the bowl we're going to serve in, I reckon this many meatballs will suffice. I'm just going to pop this aside, and I need to go and wash my hands. So if you guys
Sure,
don't
chef.
mind filling the gap while I'm not here, it'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
I will. I love Spanish food, so I'm definitely going to go all over this. Hopefully, let's say 2, 4, 6. You only left 1 for me. Are you sure, chef? That's enough. I don't know. But actually, I tend to put the meatballs in the oven as well after.
That's right. So normally, if you were doing Italian style meatballs or whatever, you would cook them through in the oven. But these, because they're so small, they'll cook through in the sauce.
Perfect. Oh yes, of
You
course.
see?
we'll do sauce
And then
after.
the pork will let out some of the juices and some of the fat, and that will go into the
So
sauce.
remind me, we had onions, we had garlic, obviously the 2 types of
2 types
meat,
of paprika as well.
2 types of paprika,
And cumin, lemon zest,
yeah.
salt and pepper, and flat leaf parsley.
Okay.
Yeah. So nice and simple. So we've got some nice colour on there. If we take the heat down here a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we have here is a roasted tomato sauce. It's a basic tomato sauce, usual mirepoix of vegetables, which a mirepoix is a dice of
When you say
fine
basic,
veg.
how long would it take you, chef, to do?
So for me, a tomato
sauce.
sauce takes about an hour.
For me, it takes 20 minutes.
So hence the reason why we pre-made it. In the recipe that has been sent out,
Yeah.
I have recommended a Mr. Organic roasted tomato and garlic sauce that's brought in it, and it's fantastic. So if you guys don't have enough time
Yeah.
or a lot of time, it will work.
How would you do the tomato sauce otherwise?
Otherwise, some finely diced carrots, onions, some celery, some garlic,
Mirepoix.
mirepoix. That's right. We sweat them off with a little bit of colour.
Yeah.
We splash some red wine in. We reduce it. We add some tomato puree, some freshly chopped
Crushed.
roasted tomatoes,
A lot there.
and then a little bit of water.
Okay.
And we cook for about an hour.
Low heat?
Low heat,
Very, very low.
very low. And we want that sort of thickness.
Okay.
So I actually want it to be not quite a puree, but because once again,
Oh, you can see all the elements of the,
That's it.
Almost
of the
salsa-like,
basics.
is it?
almost salsa-like. And once again, as it's a tapas, you're going to find that you are you're going to find that you want to eat that with a fork. So you don't want it all to be sloppy. You want to be able to share it round. You sometimes don't even want to. You don't even want to sort of have a separate plate. You want to be able to just dig in, dive in with a fork. You know what I mean? So that's sort of where we're going to be. So we're now going to let that just simmer away, and we'll leave it gently.
It smells lovely,
So in
chef.
this other pan, we're going to attempt to do the vegan version. We are going to do the
We
vegan
are
version.
going.
So once again, Van is going to do half an onion for me.
So we starting the second dish.
The second dish, that's right.
Fabulous. That's the butter bean, isn't it, chef?
So this is a butter bean, tomato, like a butter bean and tomato sauce.
Obviously, to make it easier for you guys at home, have all of the ingredients that you need already kind of put in either bowls or around your prep area. Just like this, all you have to do is grab everything instead of having to go through the cupboards. A bit like what we've just done, we just make sure that James had what he needed.
It just takes, cooking just takes a tiny little bit of prep right at the beginning.
Yeah,
And then generally the food is quite quick.
Yeah.
So if you've got the time, it works that way.
Dan, chef, are you showing up a little bit here?
No, I'm just trying to get it fine so we can.
So we're going to add
It's nice and quick.
a little bit of oil in there again.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to throw the onions in.
So we got onions again.
Onions again and garlic.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we want to mirror the flavours of the meatballs.
Right. So we're doing a vegan version.
A vegan version,
But the
so-
same kind of process.
Exactly that. So I'm going to sweat the onions off.
Okay.
And once again, I'm going to add the same spices we
Same
use for the
spices?
meatballs. That's right.
Okay.
So half a teaspoon of each. Sweet paprika, smoked paprika,
Okay.
and some powdered cumin.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
And some garlic is coming.
Again.
Again,
After.
yeah. So we're just going to let that sweat a tiny bit.
No, you're too quick, chef. You're too quick
sorry.
with the garlic.
And then while this is sweating, we've got the butter beans. We've just drained a tin. Obviously, you can use dried butter beans, soak them overnight, cook them. They do take some
lengthy,
time.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
a lengthy process. The tin products are brilliant.
Any other beans that we could use?
Yeah,
Any
pinto beans,
Pinto
bolotti beans. I just think you'll find that butter beans quite traditionally they're used in Spanish cookery. Also, they're a little bit bigger, they're meaty. You feel like you've got a protein and you're not eating like a tin of baked beans or something. Because we are doing
Very
a bean,
different.
we are doing a bean and
Very,
tomato
very different,
sauce, so
guys.
we don't want to go sort of down that baked bean route.
Okay, so as when we did the meatballs, garlic came last.
That's right, garlic towards the end. So once we sweated these off a little bit and they've softened and the onions have got a bit translucent, we'll add the butter beans to warm through slightly.
Okay. Take that new.
We'll just
Okay.
give that a stir. And then we'll do the same with these meatballs. We'll turn them over in the sauce because we want them to cook all the way through.
Probably to get the flavours as well of the tomato
That's
sauce.
right.
Yeah.
So that will soak up.
Fabulous. It smells amazing, chef. Getting hungry. A skipped lunch
That's good,
just
isn't
for
it?
that.
Skip lump, but that's exactly
A
that.
skipped lunch, chef. So
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9. As I said before, I'm not sure that's enough for
Well,
the three of us.
there's only 3 of them, there is.
And it is the guys
Van
behind
and
the
I will have
camera.
one each, and
Then the rest of them with the.
you can have the 7 you want. So once we've got the butter beans to this sort of level,
Okay.
we're going to add the same tomato sauce
Oh
that
my
we
god,
made
it's
before.
very easy.
This is very, very easy.
Extremely easy, chef.
Very, very easy. And so,
Same ingredients apart from the meat or the butter beans.
well, that's exactly that.
Fab.
So what we want to do is let that cook down as well. We want the butter beans to soak up some of the flavour, and we want to stew
Okay.
it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Once again, we're going to chop some more parsley.
Okay.
Flat leaf parsley or Mediterranean parsley.
So-
It's used a lot throughout that region. It
What's
flavours
the-
everything.
I mean, sometimes you find curly parsley.
Okay,
Is that
so
the same flavour?
it's the same flavour, however, texturally it's very, very different. I find it can stick in the back of your throat a little bit, make you choke.
That's the returns of a chef.
And that's it.
Stick to the
And also one of the other things I'm not too keen on, it reminds me very much of the ham, egg and chips we used to have in the pub back in the 70s and 80s, and there was just a piece of curly parsley plopped on the plate as the garnish on top of your tuna jacket or your...
Is that what you were having at that time?
I'd like to think we're a little bit past that now as a nation. We grow all the herbs in the world. We can do everything we need. And
we even have
it's a fantastic herb garden out there. That's right.
Lovely.
So these are both cooking down quite nicely. Okay.
Fab.
So what we're going to do when we're done with these, we're going to present them in a bowl, and then we're going to quickly flash fry these prawns.
Okay.
What we have here as well, if you'd like to take a look, we have two other traditional Spanish accompaniments for tapas. We've got a garlic mayonnaise and aioli, which
garlic
is
mayonnaise, just mayonnaise and garlic.
Well, it's mayonnaise with garlic, but this is a roasted garlic aioli. So we roasted the garlic first and squished it out, and then mixed it with your mayonnaise. And then and then also we have a pan con tomates, which is bread with tomatoes. So this is grated tomato on toasted bread.
Plain tomato?
It's plain tomato, just the best tomatoes you can buy because it's all about plain tomatoes.
Okay.
And that's actually eaten quite a lot in the area for breakfast. Drizzled with olive oil, sprinkled with some rock salt. The tomatoes have been smushed on the bread. I don't know if that's a word, but it's a word. It's a word that just recently.
What do you think? Smushed?
Well,
it's a word that just recently I've come up with, and I think to smush something on bread is a pretty good. For me, that's what we've got. So
guys, don't forget smush the tomato on top of the bread.
Exactly that. So the tomatoes are smushed. Consider them smushed, please. So we've got.
Did you toast the bread?
We've toasted the bread. That's right. Drizzle of olive oil. Cut a garlic clove in half. Rub it over the bread. All it does is impart a tiny little bit of flavour. So you're not going to get that sort of Italian-style garlic bread, but you'll get a seasoned bread.
Good bread, good tomato.
Good bread. So this is a homemade sourdough, but you can use a baguette or anything.
I would stick to the sourdough.
Anything that will toast. Anything that will toast up nicely.
Wholemeal sourdough, white sourdough.
That looks like a wholemeal sourdough.
My favourite.
But I'd say it's a combination of both. So there's white flour and wholemeal flour. It would be very, very dense otherwise.
So are they done?
So they're very, very nearly done.
Okay.
I want to keep these soft. I don't want them to go hard like a rubber ball.
So how, I mean,
I'd like to keep some texture.
for the guys at home, we're looking at what, 5 minutes cooking?
I would say for a meatball that size between 5 and 8 minutes.
5 and 8 minutes for you guys to know at home.
And the butter beans are just the same because they're tinned. They're ready. So we're just going to finish these off with the flat leaf parsley.
Is that we put at the end to keep the flavour?
We want to keep the colour and we want the flavour to be vibrant. We don't want it to cook through.
Fabulous. Okay.
We'll season with some salt and pepper.
Okay.
We'll just give it a small stir.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Turn the pan down.
Look at that.
And then we'll just pop some into this bowl.
Smells amazing, chef.
How would you normally eat this? Just with the bread?
I would eat exactly that. Eat it with the bread. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular dish is because if you're not vegan, this is a really traditional accompaniment with hake. The Spanish eat a lot of hake, so you could do a nice little pan-fried piece of white fish, add some chorizo to it, and use it as a bed. It goes brilliantly. Perhaps a paprika chicken thigh or a piece of slow-cooked pork belly. It works brilliantly. But
so that
also,
could be a base for quite different dishes.
lots of Spanish-style dishes, beans and tomatoes.
Excellent.
And like I said, so if you were using a chorizo, you probably wouldn't use a paprikas because chorizo is packed with spice sausage. So it already has that flavour in it.
Because you got the mild.
So you have the picante one and you have the mild one. You obviously have the softer one, which is a cooking chorizo.
You say picante.
So that's it. That's the one. Ooh. So now we're going to do the same with the meatballs.
Okay.
Just going to serve them up. And
so we already have 2 dishes out of 3. That's really good.
Well, that's exactly what tapa. It shouldn't, especially if you're entertaining. Let's try not to spend the whole night in the kitchen. You want to be out with your friends. You want to be in the garden. You want to be making a sangria or drinking a sangria, having a lovely glass of rioja or tempranillo or something like that.
Lovely white.
So we're going to serve one bean on there. We're going to serve the Our bonigas on the other side so we can split the colours up.
I think you need a new pan.
That's right, and then what we're going to do on this,
one here
on that stove just there, we're going to pop another pan on.
Perfect.
This one we need to get very, very, very hot.
So now we're doing the prawns, the gambas prawns.
Gambas pil.
Gambas pil.
So we'll get rid of this pan as well while we're here, if we can. We're going to get that one very, very hot.
Okay.
So in here, literally, it's just going to be prawns, garlic, chilli, fresh parsley, lemon zest, and olive oil.
That's it.
So, yeah, and it just needs to be simple, and it just needs to be.
I'm assuming, it's quite a quick cook, isn't it?
It is. So often you'll find it served in the terracotta dishes in Spain, and they'll actually cook it on an open flame in the terracotta dish, and get that dish really, really hot, and it comes out all sizzling.
Ah, right. So that's why they use the terracotta.
That's right. Yeah.
Right,
so
not normal plates.
They can actually cook it in that literally straight over the flame in that terracotta.
Guys, if you have those dishes at home, you know what to do.
How do you want this garlic? Do you want it minced? Do you want it
no, I'd like it sliced.
sliced?
Yes, please.
Sliced.
And also the same with the fresh chilli, if you could just slice that for me as well.
Spicy? No spicy?
It's not spicy. This is a finger chilli. It's standard.
Do you keep the seeds?
I would keep the seeds for this dish personally.
Okay.
You can take them out. It's a little bit of a mix. So the seeds, it's the pith that holds the seeds. It's really hot.
Okay.
The actual seeds themselves are not so hot. They'll just get stuck in your throat because they're seeds, but they're absolutely fine. So this is like 100,000 on the Scoville scale. It's pretty mild.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it very, very hot. Sometimes the Spanish would actually just use a couple of dry chilies instead of fresh chili, just to flavour the oil.
Could you just use as well? You know, sometimes at home I've got the dry chili flakes.
The chili flakes would work. I wouldn't go too crazy because they'll burn.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy with them.
So ideally, fresh chili would be better.
Fresh chili is nice, or at least a whole dry chili.
Okay.
Once again, just like all the other dishes we've done, we're gonna end up finishing it with flat leaf parsley.
Yep.
So when that pan is nice and hot, we're gonna put some olive oil on. Actually, we need quite a lot of olive oil here, and this.
It's the base of Spanish food, isn't it?
Yeah,
olive oil. It's everywhere.
I'm probably biased. I think Spanish olive oil is the best in the world.
Wow.
But I'm sure the Greeks will feel otherwise, or the Italians will feel otherwise.
Or the Portuguese.
Exactly that, but obviously I'm biased. I'd be doing Greek food if I thought Greek olive oil was better. We're going to throw the garlic in, so again, you see, we want that to flavour the oil.
Okay.
We don't want it to burn.
Yeah.
So we will now throw the prawns in to bring that temperature of the oil down.
Okay. Oh, that's quick. Yeah. Ooh.
Generate a little bit of
exciting.
smoke. So we can take that off the heat now because we really just want it to warm through. We don't want any of the products to burn.
So guys, the trick, you start, few seconds, remove from the heat, it will carry on cooking, isn't it?
Well, look, that oil's so hot now, it won't ever.
Residual heat.
Well, I know how, so now I know why my prawns are always over there.
We'll just finish that now. We can now pop it back on the heat, just while we grab a lemon.
Okay, zest again?
We're going to hit it with a little bit of zest.
Is that because it has more flavour than
Yeah, this zest has got a lovely flavour. We are going to use some juice.
Juice as well? Okay, so both.
So we are literally just going to squeeze some juice on.
So this is because you don't want the pits.
Don't want the pits, that's exactly right, yeah.
I mean, I've got that little squeezing thing. I call it squeezing thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's in the drawer with the garlic crusher and the little machine that makes two holes in the top of your evaporated milk and all the other stuff we had when we were younger.
My mum always told me you need to dice by hand. My partner gets a garlic crusher, but always dice by hand.
Yeah, no, I tend to dice by hand, or we'll crush the garlic using some salt.
It's ready.
And a knife. Yep, it's ready.
Woo, that was quick. That was quick, guys. And we have 3 amazing Spanish tapas.
So there's your prawns. They're done.
Fantastic.
They're seasoned up and garnished. We've seasoned everything with salt and pepper as we always do. And then, like I said, they'll go absolutely brilliant with the toasted bread.
Fantastic. Guys, we have 3 dishes. It took literally, it was so quick.
15 minutes, I'd like to think.
Super versatile. So now we're probably going to taste it.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we're going to have a glass of wine as well. Meanwhile, thanks for being with us again today. Next week, Marinella is back, so you won't have Marina. And I think she's taking you to a French tour. So we see you all next week.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. All right.